What's up, guys? This is Mike from the DCXP. I am joined as always by Savannah, no Joe. So this is a revenge two-person show because I wasn't on one of them, and now we just get to talk trash about Joe. We're not going to do that
That's our final segment. Stay tuned.
but also, couldn't think of 22 without singing "I'm feeling 22," whatever, however that goes.
I'll be all right if you keep me next to you. Don't bring up Taylor Swift and don't expect me to sing.
I didn't peg you for a Taylor Swift fan. I don't know why.
Oh, big time.
I know you're a country fan, but I didn't know Taylor Swift is I feel like a hot button.
She lost me during Reputation, but she's really gotten me back.
Mm.
She's made a fan out of me.
See, I was thinking of I'm not good with like music and album titles, so I was just like, Reputation sounds right.
Sure.
I know 1989. I know that was an album.
Yeah, Red, 1989, Fearless, Speak Now.
1989 was kind of her like transition album, right?
Yeah.
I was like, now I'm pop, because it still had like pop country on there, but then after that she kind of went full.
1989 is Shake It Off, maybe?
Yes.
I don't think our listeners would be able to correct me if I was wrong. So
I'm just thinking our listeners right now would be like, are you guys going to talk? Did I subscribe to the wrong podcast?
No, never. This is exactly the right podcast that you signed up for.
The cover art says DC sports, pop culture, and everything in between. So something's covered there.
Yeah.
But no, let's get to some DC stuff now. If you are a loyal listener, I know there are people out there. I've now said on 2 straight episodes that I was going to do a pitch for the Washington Wolves. Now here's the thing: Joe's not here. I want to do it with a full audience, so we're going to delay it one more time. But also, it's a pretty evergreen topic because we know that this team name is not going to happen until 2022. We were talking before the podcast about the article, that the more nationalized article that came out, that's like, oh, like the Washington football team is not going to have a name until 2022. If you follow the team, you know that's kind of already been announced. Jason Wright came on the radio and said that. We know that Savannah's fixing her setup. We good? We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
But yeah, so we already kind of knew that news. I think that hopefully I feel like it'll cool off, because we got a whole season to get to. So
hopefully people stop tweeting like, when's the new name coming? When's the new name coming? Like, they've pointed, it's 2022. Stop asking.
I mean, can we at least acknowledge that it's way better than this team? I think somebody tweeted at him and joked about it. They were like, remember when you guys couldn't tweet anything without hashtag fire Bruce Allen?
Wow. Those were dark days.
Like, those were bad. Like, that was fun. Like, they couldn't, I think I mentioned it on a way earlier podcast. Maybe it was even before we started back up with you. It was on a podcast. I basically was like, they can't tweet. They tweeted like a really like Make-A-Wish type story for a kid. And there'd be still somebody that said, I feel bad for the kid, but hashtag fire Bruce Allen.
It was nuts. You couldn't post any content without hashtag fire Bruce Allen. It was crazy.
There was a stat. It was like a hashtag. It was used like, I don't want to say the wrong number, but it was like 50,000 plus times over the course of like the stretch. The analytics they showed like how many times people used it, and it was like, oh, that's probably during the season or something like that. But man, they still got a ways to go because they got to start winning. But they got to figure out this quarterback situation, which is an awesome segue into the fact that Alex Smith is Alex Smith, no surprise, is probably going to get cut. Not official. It's just been worded in a nice way. They're going to part ways, or the nice way people usually say that. I mean, no surprise. I know some national segments on TV and stuff they don't follow the team, so they don't understand that. One, this saved the team almost $15 million. Two, it makes no sense for him to stay. It sucks because he's the comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
It's a good guy, a great guy, better story. Like he did what he needed to do for the team. It's time.
Did you have any? I mean, I don't have any strong opinions on this, but did you have any opinions on the GQ? Was it GQ piece that he was involved in? I mean, it was a hot button radio topic. I wanted to like almost call in and be like, guys, I just took it as the words looked worse than his intention because we've heard him talk. I mean, Joe likes the way he talks. We know that. Joe loves his press conferences.
Wish Joe was here.
But but yeah, I mean, I can see him almost doing this interview in how he's talking, and I think he understands. He's looking at himself as an NFL player, as like an asset to a team. He's like, yeah, I'm this guy who's over. He didn't say these words, but overpaid, or he was this guy coming with a new regime saying overpaid, coming off of an injury that 99% of people would retire from, and like, yeah, they're not going to want. Like, from a vacuum standpoint, you're a player that they do not want, no matter what your story is. As messed up as that sounds, that's the nature of sports.
And that's exactly how he meant it, of like, why would they want me? Like, look at me on paper. It doesn't make sense. Not like the Washington football team didn't want me. Here is inside scoop.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I just didn't, I don't know if I'm just, maybe I don't care. Like, I don't have like this, that, I don't know. I just was like, I read this as like, the words look worse than if he like were saying these things, because like I know how he's talked and how he's done interviews and stuff like that. So I didn't look at it as a hit piece or something like that on the football team. I didn't either.
I thought if he really wanted to make a hit piece, he could have, and it would have been much worse. We would have known if it was a hit piece. Like,
also, man. There's the I think Ron was asked about it. Ron Rivera was asked about it in his press conference at one point. He's like, didn't Alex come to you in like August and basically tell you, hey, like, I can play, like, let me make this roster. I can play and be helpful. And I think that's what kind of convinced Ron to maybe let him. And that wasn't said by Alex in that interview, but I remember that. And I put that into the context. I'm like, oh, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I know every radio show for a couple of days was talking about it. I just didn't think it was a big enough topic. And I wasn't going to make it a big topic on this episode. I just wanted to maybe see if you had any other different.
The same way that you did about it. I think it was Washington football team makes national news, and it was like, we must talk about this for 3 days and dissect every word that he wrote.
Yeah. Well, I think also I was going to maybe ask that on Instagram. And if you don't follow us on Instagram at DC Sports XP, and Twitter, same thing, and YouTube as the /. I did put a mailbag out there to ask us anything, literally anything, just, to have some fun. 3 responses, so shame on you. That's humbling when you have 500 plus people look at a story and 3 people decide to give the effort of typing. Hey, it maybe was because we've had more responses than that. If you ask a specific question, they'll answer, but we're not at the level of people caring about outside of DC sports right now. So I tried.
Dang.
So, but I think I do have, just to go over those real quick, because they are Washington football related. Okay. If I can get to, also while I'm looking, did you see, if people saw that we posted the video of what Washington fans' reactions would be? Did you like that? Was that funny? Because I thought that was hilarious.
It was hilarious. And when Deshaun Doolittle, that guy's big mad on the internet. I love that clip so much of him. But I was like, this will be us. It's like, yes, it will be us.
You know how fast when I saw that on like wherever I saw it. Oh, the Nationals tweeted it, I think. Mm-hmm. This guy's big. I was like, I'm screen recording this and I'm putting it into my Twitter folder on my phone, which is a thing now. If you want to make it on Twitter, you need to have a Twitter folder on your phone with memes, videos, and GIFs to just, because those people have like, I only have like 10 in a folder. People have like hundreds, and they're just like in subfolders, and they know what to do. And I cannot for the life of me get my photo screen up. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're good. Here we go. Three questions. Will the WFT, Washington football team, return to DC? Hopefully. I think that'd be cool.
What a fun question. I would love to see them at the old RFK site.
Yeah, I think that's the
I
most
mean,
popular opinion.
that's where the only place they'd fit. I don't know where else you'd put a stadium.
I mean, everybody. I think it's just, I don't know, with the metro and just like the way it would be. I mean, I don't know how it would differ in terms of traffic and stuff and whatnot, but I mean that would just be cool to have him back in the district. I know a big thing was the name, and now that's kind of taken care of in terms of getting Redskins out of the equation. So
Right. Well,
it's kind
Mayor
of one that,
Bowser, she said, she was like, we will not have you in the city if your name is still the Redskins.
yeah.
So that's gone. So now that opportunity is there. They did what Mayor Bowser asked. So I think there's definitely a possibility, and it would just be so much easier for fans to go to games if it's on the Metro.
Mm-hmm. And that was from Hefe underscore Av. Beals Wave, who is a very frequent commenter on Wizards content, he says, "What veteran quarterback do you want WFT to get this offseason?"
Wow.
Well, that's a loaded question because
Yeah.
who do I want? I would love Deshaun Watson. I would love Russell Wilson. It seems
Who are they
there's
gonna
a
get?
report that they haven't called Houston yet. I know people are like, sorry, Washington fans, they haven't called Houston. They're probably not getting them. I was like, I don't believe any report at this time of year. So no offense to JP Finley who reported it. No offense to, or no, JP Finley didn't report it. He just relayed the Houston reporter. He's a very well-known reporter, John McClain.
Something like that.
And everybody thinks it's John McCain, even though that guy's dead.
Right.
So, yeah, who I want, I would love them to offer everything for Deshaun Watson.
Right. In an ideal world, that's the quarterback, but I don't think it's an ideal world, and I don't think you're going to get him.
Mm-hmm. They tried to trade for Marcus Mariota, apparently, or talked.
They were in talks.
I think we talked about it a little bit last time. I think because he has escalators in his contract, if he did start and have a good year, it would be like instead of $10 million, it'd be 22 or something like that, which I can see why that scares a team off. I would love Sam Darnold. I know you said no to that. I think I would try him for 1 year with a better weaponry. And if he still looks like Sam Darnold with the Jets, then okay, we tried. We gave him a 3rd round pick. Now let's go get a quarterback next year. But
I'm still so out on that. I just don't see where, if a guy shows you he's a bust, not a bust, but like a bust, he's a bust. I don't know why we're going to take a chance on a year. Everyone's like, we can't waste this year. We can't waste this year. But like, oh, we can try Sam Darnold. And if it works, it works. Like, isn't that kind of the same thing as wasting a year?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that because I'm the one who said that. I don't want to waste a year. Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of hypocritical.
I call you
out. Hey, I'll admit it. I won't like deny it. I won't be like, yeah, I never said that. No, I said it. But
I don't know. I'm just not feeling particularly risky at quarterback right now. Like I'm not into taking chances. I don't want to roll the dice. Like either pay up big for somebody you know is going to do well, or I don't know, waste it. I'm not.
Yeah. I think the one that people don't talk about, I don't think a lot, is trading up for like a quarterback in the draft. But again, that's risky in itself because like you're probably not gonna, if you draft Trey Lance, he's not gonna play right away unless he does like he pulls like a Russell Wilson where he just looks amazing in training camp and you can't say no. But then that's still like in my wasted year category of like, okay, you're gonna go with Terrell Heineke for 10 games, and if he sucks, then you put Trey Lance in, like, and then it might be a spiral effect, but we don't know.
Right, anyway. Exactly.
So who do I want is different than who do we think, and I think I don't think they're gonna, like, Russell Wilson. Apparently, we can talk about that. Russell Wilson. I mean, I sent to you guys the clip in our group text of Danny Rui on the radio, basically saying it's kind of like, I love my wife, but if I didn't, these are the 4 girls I'd love to get with. Like, that's kind of like the analogy, and it's perfect because it's like, I love Seattle, but if I'm traded, I want to go here. Like, what?
But also, he literally went like this. There's a map of the U.S. Like, he went, I'll go there, I'll go there, and I'll go there. Which teams did I pick? Like, Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, Bears. How?
Let's break this down.
How to get there?
Let's break this down. Cowboys, no chance, because just no. I mean, I guess it would be a Dak trade. Like, you would have to trade for Dak, like that. And I think the Cowboys want to keep Dak. So that's
Apparently,
weird.
they really want to keep Dak. So
Yeah, and apparently he wants money right below Mahomes, which is that's another story. But you're not going to get. By the way, spoiler: you're not going to get that.
oh,
Well, Chicago. Um, why?
why?
Why? Like you want to? First of all, that's a horrible weather situation. Why would you want to go? Why would you want to willingly go there as a quarterback?
It sounds awful. I just don't think the Bears are for him. But sure, he put it on the list. Then you have
And
Saints
and,
and
and, and,
Raiders.
and you're going to have to give up a ton of draft capital. So the team's going to be crippled in adding young, affordable talent while you're there. The Bears do have a solid defense, but Allen Robinson most likely will be gone unless they trade for Russell Wilson and then sign Allen Robinson. But there's that's like a weird hypothetical. What was the other one?
Yeah.
Raiders. I don't get at all. That's Sierra being like, I want to move to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. That is she wants to
That's a wife.
residency in
That's a wife
Vegas.
influence.
Yep.
And then what was the other one?
The Saints.
I can see that.
The Saints is the only option on there where I'm like, okay, I get that. Sure.
Yeah, the same. And but like they have a decent defense, and he gets to play in a dome for 8 weeks. Like he's never gotten to do that before.
Right.
You get to throw to Michael Thomas, unless Michael Thomas is traded because he's kind of a problem. But you have Alvin Kamara in the backfield. Like, yeah, that'd be great. That's the only one I was like, okay, like I can see why you want to go to. I can see why you want to go to New Orleans. Dallas. Oh, I didn't even mention Dallas has the worst defense.
Like going to Dallas is like you go on a dare. Like I dare you to go play in Dallas for a season. Ha ha. Like it just why would you do that to yourself?
Real quick, I got to answer this. Yeah. So Dallas doesn't make any sense. Chicago to me doesn't make really sense. Raiders definitely doesn't make sense. And New Orleans, I would love to see Russ in New Orleans. Why he doesn't want to come back to Virginia? Why? Can you imagine if Washington football team was on his list? Twitter would break.
This whole podcast would just be us screaming about Russell Westbrook definitely coming to the Washington football team. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Russell Wilson, you got your Russells mixed up there.
I was so excited to talk about Russell Westbrook as a segue.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't have anything much to discuss after the football team stuff. I mean, there's not really much else going on with them. Besides what we talked about. I think Alex Smith was the biggest name, and we already discussed that. But yeah, segue into the Wizards, who are losing. We're losing by 18 last time I checked. And I'm going to check the score live, and it's going to show me that, oh, well, they're only down 12, but there's 2 minutes left. They're going to about to lose to Memphis, so they're going to lose their second straight. I'll get to the Boston game in a second because that was a dagger. Yeah, so they're actually playing great. Let's go back to their West Coast trip. And on the podcast, I said that people are like, yeah, they're playing okay. They beat this team, but they got a tough stretch ahead. And I'm like, how many times have we seen somebody like doubt a team going into a stretch and they come out of it like 500? Well, they went on the West Coast and they beat Damian Lillard, who's playing out of his mind in Portland. Then they went to the Lakers, and I don't care they didn't have Anthony Davis. That's LeBron James. LeBron James always torches the Wizards. They beat them. And then they beat the Nuggets. They beat the Nuggets where Jamal Murray forgot how to play basketball. So then I'm trying to think of the other games. Basically, they were 7-2 in their last 9. Going with the Celtics game, they're about to be 7-3 in their last 10. But the Wizards are fun. The Wizards are actually fun to watch. It's not like a death sentence to sit down and be like, oh God, this is gonna make me mad. Like now I'm like anxious to watch them play. Like I've always been anxious because I watch every game because I have a problem. But yeah, it's like, and again we always joke with you because you hopped on the bandwagon, and you've experienced this, and I'll say this confidently. I think they're making the playoffs. I think even though they're losing this game, they did not look good this game. But I think they still will make the playoffs. But so how we in this another week of the Wizards roller coaster. Last week was fun.
Oh my gosh, it was a blast. I was on Wizards Twitter and I was like, this is an amazing place, like tonight, but this is an amazing place. I'm never leaving. I'm not going to go back tonight, but wow.
Yeah, it's they're bipolar for sure. But
Oh,
let me tell you, when they're winning, it is some fun stuff to read.
oh my gosh. And I was just as crazy as they were. I was thinking about tweeting and I was like, Savannah, dial it back. Somebody's going to call you out and be like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
um,
I've been a fan for like, what is it?
well, here's the thing: when they're doing good, it's good for like our account too, and like stuff I make and it's always lucky for me because on Saturday they had that win, um, against shoot, who did they beat? It's gonna bother me, but it was basically so that in the post game show, I was just watching and I already made a graphic, for Russell Westbrook's triple double. He already set the franchise single season record, which I don't know if it's impressive or it's just sad because we didn't have that many.
Right.
I mean, like triple doubles used to be like rare. Now they're Russell Westbrook wakes up and gets one, so it's kind of like it's whatever. But he made that, and I was just watching the post game show because I was just chilling on a Saturday night. I had nothing to do, and I hear Chris Miller, on the post game show say, "quote Bradley Beal is now in the category of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. In one instance, they don't talk, they don't start it, but when you start talking like trash to them, they get activated." And yeah, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves. Josh Okogie, who Bradley Beal literally said was the reason that the Timberwolves lost. He's like, yeah, he started talking trash. And if you watch the clip, you can tell Bradley Beal, he got fouled, and he's like, you can't guard me. Like, stop fouling. You can't guard me. And it's kind of funny. Those clips are always hilarious to basketball Twitter. But yeah, they're fun. And I know a listener of the podcast for sure is Giovanni. I think I got that right. I think I sent you guys that screen grab of him saying like, I can't wait to listen to you guys talk about it on the pod when they beat.
Yeah.
When they beat, I forget who they beat, but yeah, we're talking about it now. Joe would, if he was on, would be really hype and probably saying some crazy stuff like we're going to win the NBA championship or something. But
I'll say it for Joe. We're winning the NBA championship. I mean,
well,
I went on the bandwagon. Here we are.
Can we talk about that? The guy who bet 10 grand. And that bet happened and then they started winning. There was a correlation.
Really, I don't want to say that they're directly correlated, but I also don't want to say they're
just
not.
If you've taken a stats class, you know that correlation thing, like the dots, like all the dots are correlated. There's a line that forms with the bet and the wins.
I mean,
somebody who is actually a statistician's like doesn't know how that works. I'm like, well, that's what I remember. Okay, that's what I remember. The dots make a line, that means correlation, and then there's causation.
Sure we're in like real big math classes, but like from what I remember, yes, you're exactly right.
I remember an x-axis, a y-axis, and dots. That's what I remember.
Yeah, it's like scatter plots or some stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Scatter plots. Yeah.
I took AP stats in high school.
You got to find the correlation there. But yeah, that's wild. But I did want to talk about Denny Avdia and Rui having to guard LeBron James in that game. That was so hype. Watching them, Rui, first of all, can be an amazing player if he stays improving on defense, and he has a really good mid-range jump shot. If he ever gets a three-pointer, he can score at all three levels. He's exciting. Denny guarded LeBron, and then his quote after the game was like, how'd you feel guarding LeBron? He's like, I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm like, I love this kid. Like, I love him.
I saw that and I was like, put it on a t-shirt, somebody make a graphic. Like, that is the energy I want from any type of player.
I would have had a graphic made in like 2 seconds if there was any good picture online of him guarding LeBron. There wasn't. It didn't exist. If it did exist, only the Wizards had access to it. I actually tweeted at Zach Rosen, who's on their digital social team, who said that quote about Denny on his tweet, and I said, put that quote on a graphic of him guarding LeBron. Like, I basically told them the content to post from the Wizards. I was like, do that. And he's like, I'm looking. I'm like, okay, how about you send it to me? I want to see that picture. I don't think they ever did it though. But yeah, it's really fun watching those guys do it. But now they've Denny's gotten less playing time and Rui kind of hit a funk. So if we were doing this podcast at the time of that win and stuff, it would be a lot more energy. But,
Yeah,
this is kind of a damper seeing them lose 2 straight. The Boston game, which we can touch on, I don't know, you probably saw the ending of that.
I saw the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That hurt. I mean, they were up 5. Bradley Beal scored 46 points. They have not won a game. They've lost 11 straight games when he scored 40 points, which
That
doesn't
stat
make
should not
sense.
exist.
Yeah, and the thing is, they should have a win like that. Like, it's not because he scored 46 they lost. Like, he had 46 at the time they were up 5. So it wasn't like, now he did technically slip and turn the ball over, which I'd argue if you watch it in slow motion, it looks like his back leg got kicked by the defender, and then put him off balance, and then he slipped. So I would argue he got fouled, unless my eyes were deceiving me. But it is kind of BS that he freaking slipped. Like he's
Yeah.
like that's why it hit a wet spot where Jason Tatum landed actually, and there was no
Yeah.
time to. I know Kamaya Beal, I love her. She's like an elite NBA wife, but she was like, "Oh, the towel boys couldn't clean that up," and I'm like, literally, that he fell, the ball got inbounded right away. There was no time for anybody to wipe that up. So I have to defend the towel boys. Um,
The Cowboys are doing their best.
yeah, but at the end of the day, they let Jason Tatum get 3 layups in a row.
Right.
You got to play defense, and Beal, is a little shorter than Tatum. I don't know why he was on him. And then the play for the game-winning shot was really stupid to me. You threw the ball to Bradley Beal in the corner, and you knew he was going to get double teamed, and he almost made that shot. He hesitated, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to have to throw up garbage. And he threw it up, and I was looking at him like, oh my God, that's going in. And then it rimmed out. So it was sad. And then they just lost to the Grizzlies, who aren't that great of a team. So hopefully they can regroup. I know they play on Thursday. I'm blanking on who they play, but
Okay.
they play on Thursday. And so hopefully they can get back to
A
it.
nice day off.
Yeah, just
In the group. Yeah.
and then the All-Star game's coming up. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
speaking of the All-Star game,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited because guess who is going to play in the All-Star game?
Bradley Beal.
I mean, I know you could guess because there's a list of the people out there, but Devin Booker is going to play in the All-Star game.
Is
You
that
know
is
why
that
Devin Booker is so exciting?
now I need to ask.
Because he's dating Kendall Jenner and they just announced their relationship on Instagram.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Maybe well, no, okay. Let me back that up. I knew they've been like a thing,
Yeah.
but in terms of announcing it, I felt like that was
Oh,
already known.
they like officially made it official. Like people have like gotten photos of them like getting in the same car together and like, are they, aren't they? They posted a
Oh,
photo of them
I
like
feel like I saw a photo of him with her at like the Kendall, right? You said Kendall?
Kendall, yeah.
I feel like I've seen like they were like going on a private jet together. Like it was like a year ago, or
Oh
like a
yeah. When you
beach.
got money like that, that means nothing. That's like, oh, like, you want to go out to dinner in Paris? Like, let's just go. It'd be the same thing and be like, do you want to order pizza? Okay, sure.
Um,
This is official, official.
hmm. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to slander his name. Well, I know he's been involved with multiple women. It's public knowledge. I don't know Devin Booker. I'm not like spilling beans here. You can look it up. Like yeah, I'm pretty sure he has a couple baby mamas. I could be totally wrong, but he is in a story that went viral by like some Instagram chick talking about what she did at the bubble. You can look it up. It's pretty entertaining. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Um, I think so. I
She
choose to
she she
overlook
got a
it.
little she got a little descriptive, and let's just say she outed Devin Booker immediately. Like it wasn't. Let's just say the Suns players are really close with each other. Just I'll put it. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I remember the story now.
I'll just leave it at that. They're
That
close
was
with each
Devin
other.
Booker? He
Yes.
didn't exist to me before Kendall Jenner. So
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, look it up afterwards. Maybe you'll, if you're interested. It was just like that. It was like on, I forget what podcast that chick went on. It was like some Instagram model and like her friend, and she just started spilling like this story, and everybody's like, okay. Like Twitter broke for a day. They were like the Suns were trending on Twitter for the wrong reasons.
Oh, poor guys. But now look
Oh,
at him. He has a Jenner.
Hey.
And a fan of me. Like, I'm a huge fan now. Devin Booker. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I like him. He's a really, really good player. The only thing I don't respect about him is that there's that video of him getting mad in a pickup game over the summer when somebody double teamed him, and he got double teamed, and he immediately stopped the game and he threw the ball back to check it up, and he's like, "We double teaming out here," and they're like, "Dude, like, what?" I was like, "Yeah, you're good. Like, they can double you. Also, you're trying to work on your game. Like, work on
Like,
passing out of double teams. Like, that's
wouldn't you want that? But
yeah."
I mean,
So
again, he does no wrong. So
here's the thing: a lot of guys, speaking on that topic real quick, a lot of guys like those environments because they have a guy filming them and they want to make a cool mixtape and they don't want to be challenged. Basically, it's kind of a soft NBA culture we're living in right now. But I'll hold my tongue any further. Anyway, so the Wizards, still they're making us happy for the most part. And then I know Scott Brooks still has a job. I know people are a little mad that Lloyd Pierce got fired from the Hawks because of a disappointment. They were supposed to be good. They're better than they are this year. He got fired. He doesn't have a great record, so people are saying, "Hey, Scott Brooks." The reason I want to clarify the reason Scott Brooks. I know people are making some wild 2021 type accusations. The reason Scott Brooks has a job is he's in the final year of his deal, and if he doesn't make the playoffs, he's probably fired. And there's no point to firing him. Like, there's just it doesn't really make sense to me. And he has been, after he made that lineup adjustment, starting Garrison Matthews and Mo Wagner, they actually started winning. So he has been doing good, even though last game he kind of cost him. But and then the thing with Lloyd Pierce is Trae Young, who's the star player of the Hawks, basically said, "I want him fired." So that's kind of what happened there. It would be like if Bradley Beal went to Ted Leonsis and said, "Hey, I want Scott Brooks gone." I guarantee you he'd be gone.
Scott Brooks would be gone.
Yeah.
By the time Brad left the office,
I don't think we know Ted, and a good segue into the Capitals. Ted kept George McPhee as his GM for way too long. George McPhee pulled off one of the worst trades in NHL history and kept his job. Do you want to be enlightened by that trade, by the way?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Okay. So the Capitals, I was studying for finals. I was just studying for a test. It was February of my senior year, 2014 or 13, one of those years in the springtime during the trade deadline. I was in the library studying, and the trade deadline was happening. I was like updating my phone because the Capitals were apparently possibly making a move. They wanted to add somebody. And the Capitals had Kuznetsov, who we know as a prospect, who didn't come over for like 4 years, but everybody knew he was really good. And then they drafted Philip Forsberg in 2012 along with Tom Wilson. Philip Forsberg was a really good prospect. Like their top, it was him and Kuznetsov at the top. They traded Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat, who was an okay veteran for the Nashville Predators. And then they also got Michael Latta, who used to be a fourth liner, who was like boys with Tom Wilson, who fans loved, and he wasn't really that good. But Martin Erat scored a grand total of 0 goals.
Oh.
Didn't do anything in the playoffs. And then became a free agent. And then Philip Forsberg went on to come over to the Nashville Predators and just start scoring 25 goals a season. One of the worst trades ever. Unforgivable.
That coming.
Unforgivable. I remember the trade deadline hit. It was like 4 p.m. or whatever. And it was like the Caps made a trade, but they have to inform the player who's overseas. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I was like, that means one of our prospects. And I was like, maybe it's like one of these other ones that I'm not really familiar with.
Right.
And I was like, yep, Philip Forsberg. Now, granted, they won a cup still, and Kuznetsov actually was the reason, one of the big reasons why. But you could have had both of them. Probably won a cup before. I don't know.
I was just gonna say you might have too.
Yeah. You saying that just digs it. He could have had 2. Anyway, so the Caps are actually 6-1-1, I think, in their last 8. So they're playing good. They had a little weekend trip to Newark, everybody's favorite city to go to on the weekend. They scored. I know Backstrom's 1 assist away from 700. Ovechkin, I think he's a couple goals away from passing somebody else on the list. But other than that, they're just, doing Caps things. I think they're very, like, for me, the Wizards win because they're not good. It's like when they get good, it's like, oh, it's exciting. The Caps, when they're just winning, it's like, oh, like, I'm used to this. Just like get to
Really,
the,
they should
like,
be good.
I like watching them play every night, but it's more like I like watching them play. Okay, now I can't wait for the playoffs. I want to make that
And I am
distinction.
tired of watching the Caps and Pens play each other. I feel like
Hmm.
there were one too many games right in a row.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they played. Was it last week? They played two games in a row. It was a little.
It, yeah, I think it was 2 games in a row.
Um.
1-1.
Yeah. So they lost. Was it overtime? Was it the first game in overtime? I feel like they've gone to overtime every game with the Pens this year. And
I
then
think they have all but one.
the other game, I think the Caps just won outright.
Yeah, they won outright.
Yeah, because they don't beat them in overtime. If the game goes to overtime, like, we're gonna lose.
Yeah, the Penguins won.
Yeah. So all right, so the Capitals, not much to say there. National sports, we already touched on Russell Wilson. Watson officially had a meeting with his coach and basically was like, "Can I please get traded? Like, please trade me." Um, it's kind of one of those things. I think somebody's making a joke where it's like, they're like, "Okay, what happens if we nope? Okay, but okay, we're gonna try to nope. Send me off." And I don't know if they're. I mean, I think they're going to. I think eventually they're going to be like, "Hey, we can get a ton for him," and at a point, like, you can't say he's untradeable. It's kind of like fantasy trades. It's like you say, like, "Oh, this person's untradeable." No, I can give you enough to make you say yes.
Nobody is untradeable. At some point, you're gonna be like, "Well, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
deal. All right."
Yeah. So when we kind of touched on Watson, how Washington hasn't apparently been a team that called. I don't put much stock into that report. Not saying I think they have a great shot. I'm just saying, like, don't be like, oh, they're not trying. Like, we have 2 months till the draft. Let's
Right.
let's pump the
Chill a
brakes on that.
bit.
Some recent news that I don't have on the rundown, but it's just common. JJ Watt signed with the Cardinals.
What a fabulous way to announce it.
I was gonna say he announced it himself,
And I love that.
which I love how it's just like source me.
It sourced me. Did you see that apparently he had he had it down to 4 or 5 teams, and he had his friend on his friend's credit card buy t-shirts of all the teams. And he was like, I was so afraid that it was going to get leaked that I was buying a t-shirt of the team. He's like, so I bought all of them from my friend, like through my friend's credit card. And he's like, but I knew I was only going to post the Cardinals picture.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more. Like, again, I clearly, like, that's simple as, hey, telling your agent, don't leak anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to leak anything. Let people run wild with conspiracies. Which just this is kind of like improvising right now. But did you see the check down? Found all the tweets and all these conspiracies that people were doing. I kind of want to actually read them because they're actually hilarious. Did you see some of these?
Like the mitochondria is a powerhouse or whatever, the cell, and it was like how that connected to the Packers.
Yeah, so it's like mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and I think that one was for the Bills because the facility that, like, studies mitochondria, like, is in Buffalo or something like that. And
I saw someone connected that to the Packers because the guy that like invented or founded that, his last name was Rogers Packers. He's going to Green Bay. Like,
okay, yeah, so I'm going to read some of them. So he said mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And then somebody goes, I figured it out. Mitochondria plays host. Aaron Rodgers announced as Jeopardy guest host on the same day JJ tweets this. Raise an eyebrow emoji. JJ to Green Bay, boom. Another person said, Mitochondria Research Center located in Buffalo, JJ to the Bills. Another one, he tweeted scary hours, and it was just a black and white field of like a practice, little like mini practice field in like a facility. Some guy goes, scary hours, Drake from Canada, Matt Canada, Steelers OC, JJ Watt to the Steelers, confirmed. Somebody said that photo is in black and white, which means silver and black, which means JJ Watt is to go into Vegas, confirmed. Then he said midday naps, loathed as a child, revered as an adult. And his brother, TJ, quote tweeted it and goes, Where's the hidden clue in this one? And some guy goes, midday naps equals MN equals Minnesota Vikings. Loathed as a child,
Wow.
born. He said, loathed as a child, he was born in Wisconsin, rivals with the Vikings. Revered as an adult, signing with the Vikings. Like this is creative stuff.
Did you also see people thought they found JJ Watt's Peloton account?
Yes, that was cringy because first of all it says KJ. Second, like what?
They're like, he's just trolling us. He's putting all these different cities. I'm like, that's not his Peloton account.
I'm gonna get back to that, but the last one I have is Dak. This guy tweeted, "Dak and Zeke have a mattress commercial, which means they're good for naps, which means JJ to Dallas Cowboys confirmed." That's
I
that's just
love it.
fantastic.
I love it.
But the Peloton one was crazy because like these like media outlets picked it up. Like there's these ones on Instagram if you follow like NFL stuff. It's Catch the Blitz, Pick Six. I I don't know if Pick Six did it. Catch the Blitz like ran with that as like this is JJ Watt's Peloton. I'm like, did you not like do any like?
Did you not actually look at?
First of all, it says KJ.
It says KJ, which I guess like his wife's first name begins with a K. So
Oh,
I'm
maybe she. I don't know.
stretching like, oh, it's KJ Watt.
Yeah, people. I mean, oof. I can't imagine if that was just somebody like Washington would be in the running for, because I like Twitter would again like with Russell Wilson. Twitter would break. It'd just be like, oh my god, conspiracy. Like, and trust me, Washington football team fans are really into conspiracies. Like they go
Oh,
hardcore
they'd be
with those.
so good at putting those tweets together somehow. I almost wish that they thought they were a contender because I would have loved to see it.
Yeah, we're still waiting. We're just waiting on like now. I think it's been a dormant since like reports come out. Maybe that they've just been really good at not leaking stuff. But like once that like little sliver of report, like they're officially interested in Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or something like that, or Deshaun Watson prefers Washington. I'm waiting for that to come out because it would blow up. But before we get into the Bachelor recap, which we do every time, and you're more than likely to, or more, if you're as a listener, you can stay and listen. If you don't, sorry, that we have entertaining conversation on it. If you don't watch it, shoot, if you don't watch the show, you can just listen to us and be like, what the hell are they talking about? But this is funny.
It's hilarious. We're hilarious.
We are funny. And if you're listening right now and disagree with that, well, you listened this far, so ha ha, joke's on you. So okay, I want to get to things, and I brought this up to you before the podcast.
Wait, one more thing before we start that. Can we touch on Nats news?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm wearing a sweatshirt too.
I know. I got my baseball shirt on too, so I'm ready to chit chat about the Nationals.
If you're not watching on YouTube, Savannah's shirt says, "If you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys bopping."
Look up Dave Parker. He is an interesting character, but the photo is iconic, and I plan to recreate it.
How did you describe him to me? You were like, he's from the 70s?
I think it's the 70s. He was in Pittsburgh. He smoked in the dugout.
That sounds like the 70s.
Yeah, so I put him in that time period.
I saw a cigarette in the dugout. I was like, that's gotta be the 70s. But yeah, I know you have some stuff you wanted to get to.
I do. Okay, so before we talk about Bryce Harper, we'll chit chat. Victor Robles has apparently lost some weight. So
lost some weight.
Yes.
I know he's leading off, and apparently Davey's going to at least try that.
Yeah.
There are a few. I mean, I'll let you keep going with these nuggets, but I know there's a few people we can get to that if they are legitimate hitters, this lineup is completely different. But I'll let you continue.
So last season, Victor Robles came to spring training with 15 more pounds of muscle, and it really slowed him down. And he ended up having a not so great season. So I guess he came back slim, trim, and fit. So it seems
he did look. I mean, like he's always been a guy who looks like he's like little. Like he's not little. He's like, I don't know, like 6 feet maybe. But he's like jacked. Like
he's jacked.
If you look at him on screen, like at the plate, you're like, oh, this guy's not that big. But you see him when he walks into the dugout on those close-up cameras. I'm like, this guy's chiseled. Like this guy's a specimen.
He is, and he put on 15 pounds of muscle, so he was just bigger.
And that can affect your mechanics in any sport when you put on some mass. You know, especially your arms. You could affect your torque and everything like that. So maybe this will improve his average for sure, because he has pop. He has power. We know that.
Absolutely. And hopefully it kind of helps his defense too. He's a little slow last year. So fingers crossed we get
And
back to the.
that's scary because he was really good on defense last year.
Yeah, he's a Gold Glove finalist.
Yeah, I think he should have won it too. I think he led most categories in those like analytical stats.
Yeah.
And he also had that. Was it last year? He had that throw it at first, and I think he chased the ball down. The guy clearly didn't think he was going to catch it, and he threw a guy at first, which is just a ridiculous play. But I have high hopes for Victor Robles this year. I need him to prove some doubters wrong.
Same. And then this is probably a nothing burger, but Juan Soto apparently fouled a ball off his foot. So out of an abundance of caution, he will not be playing.
The Max Scherzer news last year with the ankle was like one thing, but if Juan Soto's at that territory of like gasp if he hears name and injury.
I love, this is exactly why I love baseball, because Twitter was like, are we sure he's okay? Like, well, how long do we think that, like, until he gets back? But I'm like, guys, it's spring training. Relax.
And he's also ranked, I don't know if, I don't think we did that came out when we were on last. He was ranked the 5th best player according, MLB has their top 100 list. I think the NFL kind of made that a thing where these networks are now like, oh, we should have a top 100 list. So that MLB is like hashtag MLB top 100 right now. Or whatever the hashtag is, but he was 5, ahead of Ronald Acuna. So Braves fans, ha ha ha,
Jokes on you.
Boom. And then he was ranked number 1, numero uno, as under 25 player, I think, in like a draft or whatever they did some thing. He was ranked number 1. So, and again over Ronald Acuna, Braves fans, just to let you know, nationally he is looked at now officially as better. We already knew that, but it's here nor there. Also, Ron Acuna seeing Fernando Tatis's deal. He's probably mad.
Oh, pissed.
I mean, fire your agent, dude. Like, why would you take that down? We said that at the time. Like, people said that at the time of the deal. We were like, what? Everybody's like looking at the Nats like, hey, offer that to Soto and see if he jumps at it.
Right, like if that's what they're going for, I mean.
And
Soto?
I think who's the who's the second baseman? Albies. He had a cheap deal too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the Braves did. I don't know how they swindled those agents into that, but anyway. So
and then one last little nugget of Nats news. It's always some Bryce Harper stupidity. So in a press conference, Bryce said, quote, "I love playing in Philadelphia. I feel like I can be Bryce. They let me be me." He said the Phillies have never asked him to dial it down. Now, riddle me this. When did the Nationals ask Bryce Harper to dial it down or to be less Bryce?
Well, Jonathan Papelbon did.
Okay. Well.
Jonathan Papelbon choked him. No, that's a joke. I completely agree. I don't know what that means. I don't.
Like, was it a dig at the Nationals? Like, I have to
100%
imagine
was
it
a
was.
dig. I mean, I don't know what I don't know. I mean, the guy in his press conference said, like, I know they pointed this out in one of the radio shows. They're like, he said, like, I've always wanted to be here. I'm like, that's bull.
You did. Yankee. Also, nobody wants to go to Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these are topics you've heard and people say, but they're low-hanging fruit jokes. Like, yeah, nobody wants to go to Philly.
No.
I mean, you got to do really well for those fans to like you. And if they don't, they're going to boo you. They booed him at, like, his second plate appearance when he struck out.
Yeah.
Now, that might have been just for theater. They're like, hey, everybody thinks we're going to boo him. Let's just boo him. But it's like Philly fans have got this reputation that they need to uphold.
Yes.
We're talking about fans that shouted during the national anthem when they were trying to honor, I think, the guy who just died during, I think it was a playoff game with the Caps. And they were like throwing the bracelets on the ice. And the announcer had to get out and like, stop throwing the bracelets. I was like, you wonder why you're called classless. Like,
take a moment, self-reflect.
Like, the Boo Santa Claus story is definitely, like, obviously the famous one.
My dad has a saying, and I'm sure other people say it, but I've really taken it to heart. And he says, if the whole world's an asshole, it might be you. Philly fans, if you have to hate everybody, maybe it's you. Like, take a look. Let's look inside here.
Yeah, I think they're just so past gone for that, though.
I don't think they care, but they should.
Oh man, I just would love to. I don't know if it's gonna make sense. It's just funny thinking of like how Philly sports fans are raised. It's like there's a certain age where you come to reason where you're like, maybe I should be doing this, and it's like it just never happens. It's
No.
like you're gonna be an asshole, and
Yeah.
you're gonna like it.
You're gonna like it.
Yeah. Just be obnoxious as hell. And Twitter and social media have made it like 10 times worse. So, um, yeah, I know. I think Carter Keyboom's hitting well, and he's the one I wanted to get to. And listen, I'm like everybody else. Spring training stats do not mean anything. I know.
No,
I
but
think.
let's overreact anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna get excited anyway. Like Danny Ruiz said on the radio that Michael A. Taylor is a career like 867 hitter, numbers approximate. Obviously, he's not actually, but he would always hit like I don't know, like 400 in spring training, and he would always come to the plate and strike out. Now, if Carter Kieboom is actually like legit and like can stay in the lineup and now is hit, apparently he's worked with Kevin Long and they're trying to do all the launch angle and geometry and everybody talks about that stuff with hitting, which I never buy, by the way. I think you can like work on stuff a lot, but sometimes like your old habits just kind of break through, especially if like you get in a funk with the new stuff and like I'm just going back to the old stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like in baseball that happens a lot with hitting. So, but if he's a good hitter, if he hits like I don't know what acceptable for Carter Kieboom would be, I'm gonna say 260,
Love that.
and
Love that.
and add some pop because I apparently people are complaining about his power, which I know he apparently has, but he didn't show it. So if he's kind of like legit and Victor Robles is a decent leadoff man, then this lineup is completely different.
Absolutely. Well, when Carter Kieboom said he was coming off 2 injuries last season, he just never talked about. So if he's actually feeling 100% again, like this really is a whole new lineup.
And then Schwarber also talked about I think he's like squatting down more again with launch ankle, driving the ball, all that stuff that nerds like. We're not that podcast. If we had like an analytic person on, we'll love to talk to him about that. But me and Savannah are not going to break down the 37-degree launch angle that you need to hit a double into the left gap. Anyway, so before we get into Bachelor, some pop culture stuff. A story about Spencer Jones, who I just relayed to. Now, this is an old story. Like, if you're listening, you're like, oh, I already know about this. We're going to talk about it because it's entertaining as hell. Spencer Jones is a wide receiver for the Oklahoma Sooners. He was in a bar. He was in the bathroom bar, clearly drunk with his other friend, who I assume maybe is on the football team. They are picking on. I don't know what the context is. We don't know what happened before the camera, but they're clearly in a discussion that looks like it's about to escalate with two guys or one guy, and you kind of hear like, look at me, look don't look over there, because his friend's kind of looking at his other friend like, and you know why he's doing this, because he's looking at him like, I'm gonna beat the mess out of this guy because I can. Why can't he?
He's prepping.
Why can't he? Because he's a trained UFC fighter, and so he got pushed, and then the move he pulled was a slap with the left hand to the face, and then a right, and then they went to the ground. The other guy fought his other friend, slammed him into the wall, got him into a rear naked choke, kind of wailing on him too. Got probably good face shots in there. I want to skip forward to now the fact, so those guys beat those football players up pretty easily. They weren't even big guys either. Like the football players were football size. The UFC fighters were of smaller stature, but that doesn't matter when you're trained in martial arts. So I guess he got a GoFundMe to raise for his defense fees. Did you see that? Oh, because you didn't know about the situation. Okay, yeah. So he raised, I think Barstool or somebody posted this. He raised like a ton of money through a GoFundMe, saying like, listen guys, I was just doing self-defense. Like the guy was being an asshole. And like you saw the video, like everybody knows what the video looks like. And he's like, and he's like, right now I'm a full-time student paying off student loans. I have a job. Like this is going to be a tough battle for me if I'm brought to court over this. And people are like, Yeah, that guy deserved it. And like, I want to say it's like 40 grand he's raised
That
for defense fees.
crazy.
So I don't know what happened, but listen, the football player guy looked like he was being a douche. Um, Look, everybody's kind of saying he deserved it. Probably did. But
Yes.
I do have a thing about it, and we were talking about it beforehand. And this is a recycled joke. You've already heard it. But if a guy has cauliflower ear, if you don't know what that means, when like watching UFC, they have puffy ears because they've been beaten in so many times. Maybe boxers too, technically.
Mhm.
Don't mess with that guy.
No.
Now, unless maybe he didn't see it, the guy had curly hair, but apparently people could see it on the screen, so they're like, the guy has cauliflower ear. Like, what the hell are you doing? Also, he's wearing cowboy boots, which is probably more normal in Oklahoma. But when you add those two variables together, cowboy boots plus cauliflower ear, walk away. It should have been like I don't know what the trash talk was. It was like, yeah, like he's like, you're a, you know what? I'm trying not to swear too much. It was like, you're, you know what? And it's like, and then, oh, I see your ear. I'm sorry, dude.
Right.
I'm
Hey,
gonna,
you're right. I am. Bye.
you want a beer? You want a beer? I'll get you a beer. That's how that should have gone. But he got his ass kicked because you messed with the cauliflower cowboy boot guy. Now, I have a story kind of relating to this real quick. I was at a bachelor party for my cousin, and it was in Ocean City. We're all bachelor parties. They're just born to go.
I already tell where this is going. Let's hear it.
So we were at Secrets, if anybody knows that.
Oh.
We were at Secrets.
You were asking for something bad to happen.
This is not even the funniest part. Because the funny part, I guess, actually, I wasn't even going to tell this part of the story, but I realized it actually ties into it. We all got tank tops. Now, this was in 2016, if I'm remembering. So this is summer before the election of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Okay. So paint that controversial picture in your head. 30 guys in this bachelor party. We all got tank tops. 30. It was a big one.
He has that many friends?
It was like family, college. He went to Georgetown and played football there. So we all got tank tops. I remember this was all set up. Like we had to give us like what nickname do you want on the back of it. Mine was Graybeard just because for some reason I got called that in college by one of my roommates as a joke. And I was like, I think that's funny. So I think I would just put it on the back of my tank top. So my cousin Johnny was marrying the girl he was marrying is named Hillary. Now Hillary Clinton is spelled differently. Which one has two L's? Hillary Clinton, I think, has two L's.
Okay.
I think his wife has one. So there is a distinction there. Anyway, the shirt said, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get in trouble for saying this by like my cousin or something like that. But the shirt said, the tank top said, the word, I'm just going to censor it, F Trump. At the bottom, marry Hillary. But the picture on the shirt was Hillary's head, Hillary Clinton's head, on a, how do I describe this? On a like 70s like busty swimsuit model, like a one piece like American bathing suit. So that's the best way I can describe it. You probably have the picture in your head. And so it was like a blue tank top, and like the writing in the picture were kind of like black. It wasn't like a colored picture, but you can tell what it was. And on the back, it just said like, I think that their wedding hashtag, whatever that was, and then my name, like my Graybeard name. So the front of the shirt confused a lot of people.
I'm sure.
It said screw one guy, but also marry the other candidate, but also making fun of that candidate. People, we got a lot of looks.
I'm not shocked. It was 30 guys in matching shirts too. So.
Yeah, and it was kind of a bright blue. It wasn't like a blend-in blue. It was like really like you like, oh, that's that bachelor party, like that kind of thing. Like there was no blending in. So we went out. Have you been to Secrets?
Oh, just once.
I thought you'd be like, oh, all the time.
No. Once was enough.
Once was enough? Yeah, once probably was enough for me too. We walked in, and we went to, there's that back area where you go into the water, which is disgusting. Say that right now. You're walking in a lot of fluids. I don't need to go any further than that. You're walking in a lot of stuff. And I knew that. I was like walking in, and I was like, oh, this is gross. But I think it only goes to like your knees. Like
Yeah.
so we still had our tanks on, and I was talking, and this one guy came up to me, and he's like talking about my shirt, and I'm kind of isolated from the group. I don't know why. I was like kind of by myself, and it was a conversation that seemed like it was on the fringe of escalating, but I wasn't the one reason why. Like I wasn't like getting into a fight with this guy, and he seemed a little on edge about my shirt, and he's like, "What does this mean?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just like it's a joke. It's a bachelor party." And he's like, "Oh, like, but what is it? Like, what are you trying to say?" Or something like that. I don't remember the exact conversation, but it was really. I was like, "I don't want to like fight you, dude." Like I was like you seem, and he wasn't that big of a guy or anything.
Okay.
One of my cousin's hometown friends, I'll leave him nameless, or his nickname's Campy. You'll never get his real name off of that. His name's Campy, and childhood friend, but was an amateur UFC fighter for like his 20s basically, and he's like in his 30s, and was in his 30s at the time. So he has a lot. He's stocky, short, jacked Italian guy who
Okay.
knows multiple forms of martial arts.
Yeah.
He sees me with this guy, kind of 5 feet behind me, and the guy's talking, and then I kind of turn after the awkward combo, and he walks to me very seriously and goes, "Was that guy chirping at you?" And I go, "No, like he was just, I don't worry." Like it's like no, like I'll mess him up. I was like, "Please
Please
don't.
don't.
I know you can. I know you probably can beat everybody up here, but do not." Dude, like he's fine. Like that guy, he was drunk. He's like, okay, well, just know I got your back. And I was like, thanks, man. Fast forward, so I'm like, he wasn't that drunk, but I could clearly be like, oh my god, is he one of those guys that like gets drunk and wants to just fight everybody? So
Yeah.
fast forward to either that night when we were back at Secrets. Our hotel, by the way, was like right next door. Um, that night we weren't outside. It was like, it was big open. There's like bars everywhere, and we were in the main, like with where the band plays or whatever. And we're at the main bar, and he comes up to me, and I'm relatively not drunk, and he comes up to me clearly borderline blackout and goes, "I just want to fight somebody, man." And I'm like, oh no, my role just changed tonight. I am now your chaperone. Like you're gonna get arrested because you're gonna kill somebody. You might
Yeah.
actually kill somebody. And he's like, I just want to fight somebody. And the thing is, he's wearing like, like khaki, like normal like khaki shorts you wear, like a funk, like he had like a Hawaiian type shirt on, like
Okay.
unbuttoned with a
Oh,
fedora.
oh, good. Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's what he was going around telling people he just wanted to fight in. So yeah, I had to chaperone basically that night. Not really overly, but I just kept an eye on him. I was like, anybody he was talking to that was a random. I'm just like, oh, he's gonna swing on him just for no reason. So yeah, that's my long-winded UFC story. How I was almost in that situation, but
You could have been that video.
yeah, I could have been the guy that just watched it happen and stepped over. Because in that video, whether you haven't seen it, there's a guy in like the stall, and he kind of like waits till they kind of get on the ground. And he just kind of just casually steps over, goes and washes his hands. But yeah, so that I've had that kind of experience. That was really funny. And the best part about that is that guy I hadn't seen in so long. Like he used to be like I'm the little cousin who would always see him at like Christmas time and stuff. And his name was Campy. And the other friend was named Chewie because he had like a beard. They call him like Chewbacca in Star Wars. Um, and we hadn't seen them in like a decade, like or something like that. And we like see them when we meet up for the bachelor party at first at the hotel, and like it was like no time had passed. Like
Oh,
it was really weird because like it wasn't like we were super close with them, but we'd always see them around the holidays and when we go to
right.
Massachusetts. So it was one of those weird relationships. But I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna witness somebody going to the hospital tonight. But luckily that didn't happen. Um, Another thing, I had an Ed Sheeran tidbit I wanted to actually say last time. Remember my love fest for Ed Sheeran?
Yes.
So I forgot to say this. So he had a daughter in late 2020 or mid 20 September. I don't know
Yeah.
what you call that, mid late. Um, Her name is Lyra or Lyra. So that's kind of a funky name to begin with. And then it's Antarctica Seaborn Sheeran.
What?
I was going to bring that up. I'm like, that's a name. Here's the thing, though. I did some more research. His wife's maiden name, so her name's Cherry. His wife's actual name is Cherry or Sherry, but it's spelled Cherry. Her name is Cherry Seaborn, so it was kind of like a double last name kind of thing. But
Okay.
Antarctica is still the name that I can't get over.
That was a choice. Like they chose Antarctica.
So I did want to mention that. I knew there was something I was leaving out about Ed Sheeran that I wanted to bring up. That was it. And another thing is we talked about the Britney Spears documentary. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you said you saw it.
I watched part of it. It really was upsetting me, so I had to turn it off.
Okay, so is somehow a related video came up on my YouTube feed, and it was, you know how Justin Timberlake apologized for stuff, because he, the thing was, I don't know if you said it or you relayed that, or basically like how they claimed to be virgins, and he basically went on these radio shows and was like, nah, he basically, I think the wording was like, I got in the pants or whatever, like whatever he said. So I was on a YouTube rabbit hole and I saw a related video. It was the SNL skit from when Justin Timberlake went on, I think 2013. I've never seen the skit before. And it was they're on like a voyage to America, like these people from England and Ireland. And so they have like these beards, and it's like Bill Hader, the guy who plays MacGyver, I forget what his name is. And I forget the other actors' names, but Justin Timberlake's in it. He has like this beard, and his name's Cornelius Timberlake. And it's like I wish that, and they're talking about their grandsons, like what they think their grandson. So his grandson's Justin Timberlake, and he basically like relays the career of Justin Timberlake. He's like, I hope he's gonna become a pop star, and like make a lot of money. And he's like, and he goes like, and sing pop songs. And like, what kind of songs? He's like, I don't know, like Cry Me a River, and that was obviously like in more higher pitch because it's Justin Timberlake. And some guy goes, so he's a girl? And he's like, no, that's a normal way for a guy to sing. And then he goes, and then I think he'll date a famous like a pop star, like talking about Britney Spears. And he's like, and they'll claim to be virgins, but in secret, he hid it. And I go, oh my God, this did not age well.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like right after hearing about the Britney stuff. So this was what, 8 years ago. So I was like, oh man, I'm surprised. I was looking at the comments too. There wasn't any recent comments. I'm surprised people didn't like dig that up, like
I'm
hardcore.
shocked brought that back.
Yeah. I'm sure like SNL fan, like hardcore SNL fans, like remember that and be like, I would like gone and commented. Usually you see that on YouTube comments, like who's here after seeing whatever. Oh, that's what I meant to say. Did you say you saw Schitt's Creek?
Yes.
I forget if I told you this, but at the end of season, oh no, maybe it was talking to somebody else. So at the end of season 2, when they play the Morrison song, what is love, 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 like that one song, everybody went to that song, and you can look at that video on YouTube and be like, who's here from Schitt's Creek? It's amazing.
Oh.
That song, I mean, that, and by the way, if anybody's a Schitt's Creek fan or you haven't seen it, I recommend it. And at the end of season 2, it's weird because like at the end of season 2 for me, the show that's when it like took off.
Yes.
Like based on like what you just witnessed and like what you know is about to come. So, good show. But yeah, I did want to share that that SNL skit because I was like, that did not age well.
I would definitely be watching that tonight. Like,
yeah, I forget what it's called. It just probably can type in Timberlake SNL.
Yeah.
But just the way he said it, he was like, in secret, he hid it. And I was like, oh, Justin.
I can picture his smug little stupid face.
Also, he said he's gonna wear tiny vests and old age hats, and then Bill Hader's character goes, "Oh, that's probably gonna frustrate the other men," and he's like, "It is." And then they say he was in a band, and he's like, they're like a sweatshop, and he's like, "Yes, kind of like a sweatshop."
Kind of.
I was like, yeah, just looking back on some of the stuff that just may rub people the wrong way nowadays. Hold on to some humor, people. Just hold on to a little bit. Okay, Bachelor time.
Bachelor time. If you've listened this far, thank you. Please don't turn it off. We're very funny.
Yeah, so Bachelor talk, we're going to try to... by the way, every time we do these, I always say like, oh, let's see, maybe we can keep this one shorter, and then we just don't.
Never do.
I don't think we either of us care about talking this much, but okay, so there's two episodes we have to get to. The second one, I don't know how much we want to talk about the Girls Tell All. I don't know if I skimmed through it, the good parts.
Yeah,
like I didn't need to hear all, like when they brought girls up for their, like Brittany talking about being called an escort. I'm like, I know how this is gonna go. You're gonna, and then I actually did watch the exchange between her and Anna, which was,
yes,
I felt like that was actually like a solid part of the show. I was like, I feel like Anna was genuinely sorry. Anyway, so I'll do what we did last time. I'll really, really briefly skim through the one-on-ones, and then we can go back and whatever popped out. So one-on-ones, it's a given that they meet the parents, so you know that happens on the one-on-one, or they meet whoever is the people. They had Michelle. She went for a bike ride because it reminded her of Minnesota. Then they went to the classroom. Kids asked a bunch of questions, probably given to them by producers, because she's a teacher. So that's what Michelle did. Rachel blindfolded them. Then I thought it was just going to be her speeding in the car the whole time. Like, do you trust me? I'm like, is this going to be the date? Like, you just speeding up? And then so they went to skydiving, which is hilarious because my story last week, very, very much tied into what the hell happened.
Yes.
So if you actually don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the last 10 minutes of the last podcast, episode 21. I have a skydiving story. It's very relatable to what happened. So Rachel, they went skydiving. Bree, they went off-roading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they went off-roading. And then I think that's, what else did they do?
That was like it.
That was it. Yeah, okay. And then Serena did Canadian lingo type stuff. Mm-hmm. Eating food. Mm-hmm. And then played hockey.
Yes.
Yep. And then more bloopers. Yeah. Like another great Michelle blooper. That's what I wrote down.
Michelle.
I'll just get to that right now. The Michelle blooper is when they're riding bikes and like he falls, and first of all, they're wearing matching they were matching colors.
They were.
That's got to be planned, right?
No way. I think it might have actually been an accident. The two of them matched.
Well, that was funny. Anyway, did anything stand out? Do you want to just like go what stood on each date? If you want, just go through them. Like Michelle, like did anything pop?
Yes, Michelle is about to get her heart broken. She likes Matt so much. Matt likes her enough, but not as much as Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I didn't really have. I wrote down Matt's laugh is still just annoying. It's like he always has to bend over too. It's always like I don't get it. I don't know why I'm crapping on his laugh so much.
Wow.
Some people just have one. I might have one. I don't know. I just know he has one.
Can't judge myself. I can judge other people though.
Yeah.
He has an annoying laugh. Sorry, man.
Well, if somebody said like you have an annoying laugh, I'd be like, but you heard Matt James's?
Right.
Yeah, but I'm above him. Anyway. So with the parents though, she seemed like she has like old-fashioned parents. Yeah. Dad's very concerned about him dating other women, which you have the right to. It's pretty definitely a thing. She said she told her dad she'd say yes if he asked. She said she was in a hard place like 1 to 2 years ago.
Any follow-up on that?
I was like, wait, did I miss? That's when I was like, did I miss something? I was like, did she talk about that already or?
No.
So I actually had to put the subtitles on because they kind of like mumbled something when he mumbled like 1 to 2 years ago, but I thought he maybe said like a name or something, like maybe a relationship.
Right.
Nothing. So dad then kind of grilled him being like, are you in love with her? Matt, those were cringe because he clearly was like, he can't say yes, but he's trying to be like, I'm falling for sure. Like that's how he would answer it. And I'm like, oh God.
And that's a week before you're supposed to get engaged, and you're looking at her dad being like, I'm falling.
Oh, that's what I want to really touch on or briefly touch on is that we've talked about how you don't have to get engaged, right? Like that's not like a requirement, but he wants to. That's the thing.
He wants to. It's strongly encouraged that you leave engaged.
So I just think like, I don't know. My point, my thinking was like, okay, like the whole time, like you don't have to get engaged. You could just like leave the show together or something like that. And I was like, I don't know. I could never be on the show. It would be too much. I could never be on the show for the simple fact of why Serena P left, which we'll get to. Yeah. Okay. So anything else with Michelle?
No, she's a great gal. Glad we got to.
So Rachel picked Matt up in a very nice car. Who provided that car?
So Nemacolin, the resort, it's actually by where I grew up. The owner of Nemacolin,
really?
yeah. Nemacolin, the guy that owns it, owns like exotic cars, and it's like a place right by Nemacolin that you can rent out to drive around because it's so gorgeous around there. It's like all hilly and scenic. So people do that a lot. They rent cars and drive around there.
Okay, I was like, this is a very nice whip.
Yeah, he owns a car dealership shop thing.
So she goes like, okay, do you trust me? Blah blah blah. And then he gets in the car blindfolded because I think it's funny because I blindfolded Joe when we took him skydiving, and I was like, oh my god, this is very similar. And then so she blind. You don't know where they're going. Actually, you kind of do based on the preview. You know, like Rachel's date is probably skydiving. So they won't go skydiving. I said their lesson was a little different than mine. It seemed a little. It was just very like, all right, we're going skydiving. I was like, well, I got in a circle and I got told I might die. So
maybe they should have told them that because I don't think they were prepared.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's clear. Like I don't know what happened on that. Yeah, Rachel. Yeah, they show Matt going in like easy peasy, just like slide in like you're supposed to. And Rachel came down and just absolutely got crushed. Like that looked like it hurt.
I am shocked the medical team didn't have to like run out and be like, "Are you alive?"
They must have cut that out because there's no like one. She landed in a way you couldn't really tell maybe what she hurt. And I was like, you can't just like be down. It's like, oh my, I think she said my back hurts. And they, like, okay, let's sit you up. Like, it's not what you're supposed to do. Like you don't sit somebody up after they just, that. So I was like, wow, this is like completely horrible handling of somebody who just got crushed in skydiving. I thought like the way she landed, I was like, okay, broken collarbone, broken shoulder, anything, like whatever, when you hit here.
Yeah.
I've seen quarterbacks get hit less hard and break their collarbone. Yeah. So she got pummeled. Yeah, you literally stole the words off my notes, which is I feel like they should have given more attention. And I said maybe not shown. And then Matt gave a cheesy talk after that. It was like I was like, okay, this is rehearsed.
So first of all, producers aren't even trying to hide the fact that they're editing and piecing this together because she literally sits up and her hair is like crazy. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, my back hurts. They go to Matt's face being like, I care about you so much. It was so scary. They go back to Rachel. Her hair is perfect again. And she's like,
oh, I didn't notice that.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm like, wait a second. How did you get the leaves out of your hair that quickly?
Leaves be gone.
Yeah. So there's no way that all happened in one sequence.
It was just as the cheesy speech, like I actually like that. That was when I was like, oh my god, like is she okay? Like that's when I realized I was like, oh my god, this sounds like a bad soap opera.
Literally it took you falling out of an airplane for me to realize how much I care about you. Like, what if that was?
Yeah. So I just was like, whatever. Also, I hate thinking this way now because we know what's happened with Rachel off the show, but it's like when that happened, people like probably cheered. Like I was like, there's people being like, yeah, take it. Yeah, there's definitely people that did that. Meeting the parents. Was it just her mom and dad? Oh, and her sister looks like her twin.
Yeah.
Parents concerned about how fast it's going. Okay, and like all these parents are probably old school. Like, why are you?
Yeah, the parents don't understand that they're for Instagram followers. Yeah. They're not comprehending that. So.
I said Rachel's sister looks like a twin with blonde hair. Her dad. Her dad's being. Oh, I think I said her dad's being real. I think it just because he was being straight up like this is like I think you should basically like this is a bogus process. Like, are you sure about this? Like, also she was kind of saying how like if she was like the favorite, which we still think actually I know she's probably gonna win, but like if I didn't have the feeling because of what happened off the show, which gives more of a hint. Because she put out a couple more Instagram posts, by the way.
Yeah.
I think one was a video and another one was another text thing. I would have been like, okay, I don't feel as confident in Rachel anymore. Like it didn't. I feel like she wasn't like the best meeting of the parents in my opinion. Like
I would had we not known everything off the show, I would think it was a real battle between Michelle and Rachel.
Yeah.
I would put a lot more stock in Michelle.
Because she was like, I really hope maybe he asks for the blessing, which is a traditional thing. I would say if she doesn't have a father figure, figure out who that is and ask for the blessing. That should be something that's done. I don't know. I'm old school. That's actually a fun fact about that. When my sisters, now my brother-in-law, when he asked I came home from, I think I was at like the bullpen for some reason. Like it was like a Nats game or something. I came back really late, and I came in my house and I walked up my stairs and right when I walk up my stairs to go down the hallway to my room, my parents' room's like right at the top of the stairs, and my mom was awake for some reason at like midnight, and she's like, "Oh, so Jack came over," and I'm like, "Cool. Like, why'd he come over?" And he's like, to talk to Dad, and I was like, cool. It's like for the asking. I was like, I don't know where this is going. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, okay,
Came over.
okay, came over, okay. So that was really fun. I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? Cool. He talked to. Oh, okay, I get it. So, yeah, you should always ask the blessing if you can find that person, whether it be the dad or whoever. But yeah, she was like, I'm disappointed he didn't ask, because he didn't, like, the way they said goodbye was really awkward. It was like,
yeah, it was a weird ending to the day where she obviously was disappointed.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
So yeah, that's why I said I wouldn't have felt as comfortable. And who knows? Maybe she doesn't. We don't like these posts on Instagram. She could be doing this because she still has to stay silent with what she can't give anything away, but she also has to fight this thing she's basically now in. So I think I would put it at 80%. She wins 20% still. I think maybe. Now, my second person, Serena P, that did not happen. She went home. I don't know if anything popped out with her for you.
Their whole date, I could tell something was off. It was a fine date. It was nice. It just wasn't a hometown. Like, I wasn't getting romantic feelings. I was getting like, I really enjoy hanging out with you feelings.
See, this is weird. I guess I don't know if I'm looking at this wrong, but first of all, he thought a toboggan was a hat.
He's an idiot.
But I said, I'm not gonna lie, I think it seemed like, I always said, like, he has like this weird goofy bro-y side that is not shown in the show, but I think that's his actual personality. Okay. And it comes out like in little spurts. And it came out a lot with Serena. So I was like, okay, like he's showing her his like real person. Like he did something really goofy with the eating. He was doing some goofy stuff, being funny with the eating of the Canadian food. And I was like, no, that's your personality. And like, you're actually showing her. And I'm like, I don't really see that a lot with Rachel. So that's why I'm like, oh, maybe Serena P is actually the one.
And I think they probably would be the only couple out of this to maybe work out in the real world because it's his real personality. But I think in his brain, he was like, we're friends.
Yeah. Well, also, it just proved that hockey is the hardest sport to play, because Matt James is a former athlete, almost at the pro level, and he could not skate worth a damn.
No, he could not.
I just want to emphasize that people like make fun of hockey. You have to do all the other things in the other sports on skates.
Yeah.
Why is it debated? Like, you have to be able to move on skates and hit a one-time. Look at Alex Ovechkin's goal in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. He is moving down, saucer pass, literally hits it out of midair. You know how hard that is? And I was like, I bet a baseball player could probably do that, but they probably can't skate. Or a football player can hit, but he can't hit on skates.
Yeah, the fact that like speed skating is its own sport, and like there are like that is a sport in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, let's also combine people hitting you and you trying to hit something into a net. Like hockey's hard.
It is.
Matt James was.
I actually took hockey lessons, not hockey lessons, skating lessons between the ages of 7 and 10. I can't really pinpoint the age, but it was like a couple where I was like, I don't like this. Like, I loved hockey, but I was like, this is too hard. And I didn't skate ever after that until my dad's 50th birthday. So I was 18 at the time, and we rented, like, so my dad's family is one of 9, and my mom's family is she's one of 4. and then we had all the cousins, which is a ton, and everybody pitched together, and we rented out this rink in I think Peabody, Mass, for like 3 hours to celebrate his birthday. And he played hockey, all his brothers did, and stuff like that. And I had watched so much hockey that I always say this, like the one arrogant thing I'll be saying is that I'm a good like physical observational learner, like for athletic stuff. So I just knew how to skate off of literally just watching like thousands of Capitals games. Well, not thousands, but like a lot of Capitals and just NHL games. So I like, okay, this is how they skate motion, and this is how they turn, like overlap your leg. And I was like, so I was able to skate completely fine. My uncle was like, do you play? And I was like, nope, but do not ask me to stop. Like, that's not happening. I will crash. I actually, then when I moved out to California, I actually found a rink in Long Beach, and I would go and I got like a pass or whatever. And I went and I would skate I would go there and skate for like an hour.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good exercise too. I
cannot ice skate.
It's deceptive. It's deceptive. Deceptive exercise because you're gliding, but you're still using like your leg muscles. So you don't realize it, but yeah. But I was always on the ice with at least a couple other people. I tried to find a time like where nobody would be, because I had grad school, so I had some random days off. And I would go like midday, and there'd always be like kids. And I was like, I'm scared to try to practice to stop because I don't want to look at this grown ass man like kind of speeding up and then trying to turn and stop and just wiping out. I tried it once. I almost broke my legs into the board, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like, I can skate backwards, I can skate forwards, I can smooth turn, but for some reason I'm scared to stop. I know a lot of people relate to that.
Well, my sister, she's one of those, she has no fear with anything, and she is very athletic. So we went ice skating for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy, because I danced. It was not easy. I was not good at it. I hugged the wall the whole time. But my sister was like, oh my, you're being such a baby. So she just like to the middle, and I was like, Sid, you're so good at this. And then she broke her wrist. And then I was like, oh, just kidding.
Well, yeah. So one time I tried to stop, and I like, wiped out and kind of spun, and my heels kind of slammed to the boards. And I was like, oh, if that was at a different angle, I don't know, that could have ended badly. And then another time I just kind of lost an edge, and I fell on in my, I never got it checked out, but my wrist really, really hurt after that for like a week.
You broke your wrist.
Yeah, that probably happened. And then I think when I first got my skate sharpened, I've never gotten my skate sharpened. And like, I called my dad, and I was like, what the hell do I tell them? I was like, when I go to this hockey shop that I found in like Anaheim or something, I was like, do I just say like regular? Like, what do I do? Like, I'm going to sound like a noob. And I basically was like, hey man, like, I've never gotten these sharpened. He's like, it's like, yeah, I'll just do regular edging. I was like, okay, let's do that. And I think they gave it to me for free, because they're like, oh, you're new, so here. Aww. So, and I got myself a nice pair of like Reebok skates with like the pump action where it makes it like nice and tight in the ankle. Let me tell you, when you get your skate sharpened, I know I'm on like a tangent right now, but it feels amazing when you go on. Like, it's so different. Like, if you had dull blades and you got your skate sharpened, you feel like you go 10 times faster, even though you're not going that much faster, but it just, you can feel like it cutting into the ice at a different,
not for me.
If I'm ever back in Virginia or whatever, I will teach you how to skate.
Okay. That's a fair deal.
That's a fair, like, literally, I know by the way, I took Joe one time to the Caps Iceplex, because I just was like, Joe, let's just go ice skating. Like, I had to itch, because that's when I was doing it a lot in California. I was back. Let me tell you, Joe looked like Bambi on skates.
Oh.
Okay, that's harsh. If he's going to listen to this, I don't, but it's, Joe's like 6'2". He says he's 6'3". He's not. He's 6'2", kind of, a bigger guy, probably 200 pounds. And it just looks funny. I wish I had a video.
I do too. I feel like that should be our next outing. We should all go ice skating together.
We should. But what people mistake, I don't know if you do this as a mistake, but people try to like run on skates when you're supposed to just push off.
Yeah, see, I can't rollerblade, I can't ice skate. Like, that whole thing where people are like, just push. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. That does you
I'm looking forward to this get together for sure. The Not that I like enjoying people make a fool of themselves, but
Oh
um,
no, put me on ice skates or rollerblades and I will make a fool of myself.
the only thing is the rentals sometimes suck. The rental skates don't do anybody any favors. They have
I
like these
mean, I
weird stop
can't
things
get
in the
one.
front. They have like those like jagged thing to people so people can maybe stop
Yeah.
like an emergency. And like sometimes if you're at the wrong angle, you like just toe pick and then you'll eat crap. So all right, back to what we were talking about. Serena, she went home. It's mainly because okay, no, Bree's the one I want to get to that has a crazy thing I forgot about. But basically, Serena said um, something is missing. So I think her friend told her that
Mhm.
basically, and I was like, this is ending bad. Her friend's busting her bubble.
Yep. It, but it was true. It's like so hard because you are in this like fantasy world of like everybody else loves Matt. I should probably love Matt too. And then when somebody that you care about sees you and is like, "Are you happy?" Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, am I happy?" I think it was that first moment where she realized that like they are just really good friends. I don't think it's romantic. I think it's they enjoy being with each other.
Hmm.
There was no
Yeah.
way they were getting engaged.
Also, that might have been the most R-rated blooper about Serena P and Matt. We can get to that, but I'm surprised they put that
Uh,
in there.
I was shocked.
Um, and the camera work too was very very suspect
Oh
on
my
that.
god.
Anyway, so with Bree, um, I just said I laugh every time he greets each girl because he greets them essentially like they're all his longtime girlfriend.
Mhm.
It's funny. It's just it's a funny
Okay.
concept to me. I'm still learning. I'm still getting used to it, but it's just like I don't know if I could. I could be on a show as a contestant and being like, I know you're greeting other dudes like this. Like this is
No,
not gonna.
but when she runs up to you and does the little koala jump where her legs drop around, you'd be like, I'm
Okay,
special.
I'm the one. I'm the one.
Yeah. I actually do that with everyone.
Yeah. So off roading. The uh, the baby sister. Wait, no. The baby sister threw me out. Wait, no. Did she have
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the baby sister threw me off because I forgot her mom was 13 when she had her.
Right. Like her mom, like it's totally appropriate that her mom would have a child that age.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, okay, her mom's like 37. Oh, whoa. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Right. Like it's not crazy, but then you look and you also have a daughter who's about,
24.
yeah. Like that could be either of their kid and it's not weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And yeah, because I was looking at her like, I mean, I was like, I mean, first of all, she doesn't even look 37. Like, I'm being genuine when I say this. Like, she could pass for 30.
Oh, easily. She looks fantastic.
I was like, you look like you could date Matt, and
Yeah.
that would not be weird. And I think we made that joke when we heard about we didn't see her, obviously. We just like, her mom could probably date Matt.
Yeah.
Um, and then he had to awkwardly answer the love question again. And her mom clearly is like, this process sucks. Her
Yeah.
mom was not happy with how this was going. Um, and then, oh, the most awkward line he said, I forgot about this. She said she's fallen in love with him. And he awkwardly looks and smiles and goes, "Thank you for sharing that with me tonight." Can you
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about that's like the most like yeah, you're definitely not winning.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Like that's when people make that joke. If anybody follows Down Bad Patrol with guys who try to like shoot their shot or text a crush or and they get rejected, like that's up. That's bad. That's a rejection.
And I know for a fact Matt asked producers, like, so what do you say when they tell you, like, I love you? Like, what am I supposed to say back? And they're like, why don't you, like, thank them for sharing? He's like, okay. And then he
If you
said,
said that when I took a sip of water, I would have spit it out.
but it's exactly what they said. It was like, okay, thank you for sharing that with me today.
I get like secondhand cringe because I was like, I mean, first of all, that's a normal fear to have if you're in a relationship and somebody says I love you and you're just like, I can't. Well, you could lie and just say it back, but I know I couldn't, I don't like lying. I would never lie about something like that. So it is an awkward situation for a guy or a girl if they have to say like, thank you or like,
Or you could express your feelings for someone without saying I love you. Be like, thank you, like, or don't not say thank
yeah,
you. I'd say it too.
yeah, just say thank
Like,
you.
I appreciate you saying that. I really care about you. I think you're an amazing person.
Or, well, I guess. Yeah. I feel like there are people in relationships that can literally like say that, and the other person be like some in some way, shape, or form, be like, I'm not there yet, but like don't be discouraged or something. Like I don't know. I feel like there can be an
Yeah,
adult
like just because
relationship
I can't say it right now doesn't mean I'm never going to be able to say it.
that
I
does
see
that
happening.
can also, but that also can set up like awkwardness because then you're just like, well, today the day you say it back?
I mean, that wouldn't fly if someone said it to me, but like I get it in other people's relationships that
I,
might work.
there's been so many shows that have that joke in there. I know in Friends, I'm a huge Friends fan. Obviously, that is well known if you listen to the podcast. But when Ross is dating that oh god, what's her name? The blonde girl with short hair, and he's like, he says like something not "I love you," but she just goes "Thank you" and like gives him a hug,
Yep.
and
Like exactly.
he's just like, yeah. It's rough. I've actually never had to really endure that yet in my life, but not looking forward to it if it ever
Knock on
happens.
wood.
I got wood
And then
right in
please
front of me.
good. Report back to the podcast though if that
Yeah.
happens. That'll be
Episode, we're on episode 22, episode 617. It happened, guys. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Bree, yeah, it was awkward. Serena P went home. So
women tell all.
woman tell all, we can go through this pretty quickly. I don't know if you have anything you wanted to say.
The only part, well, one, people were making jokes on Twitter that when Matt came out, they're like, "That's the beard of a single man. He is definitely not in love
Well,
with
you
me."
can, if you follow, I don't follow him on Instagram. I just see, he's always on my. I guess it's, I don't know why. Maybe because I followed two of the girls from the show, which by the way
Probably.
I never do. But like every time I go to search on Instagram, Matt James's beard pops up on my screen as a
Yeah.
video, doing some stupid dance with pizza. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, that beard. He's had that beard because he came on Good Morning Football actually with that beard, um, before the Super Bowl, like the week before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a beard if I'm probably not engaged. That's like a sad boy beard.
I wouldn't be shocked because I feel like he's a little sketched out. Like he says he wants it. I think he wants an engagement, but now I think he's gonna realize like that's crazy. Like why would I do that? Like I don't need to get engaged. So maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does what I think you should do and be like, hey, I really like you. Not ready to get married yet, but
Let's just leave the
yeah,
show.
let's leave the show and let's see what happens. So
I don't know. Do you have we'll do final prediction because women tell. Oh, do you have anything else from women tell all?
I'm trying to think of anything that happened because again, I the Anna Brittany thing seemed a thing. Victoria actually came off not horrible. Okay, latter part she kind of did because it was like okay, like.
Yes.
But the first part when she actually like her and Katie talked,
Yes.
that actually seemed like she was like, yeah, I'm sorry for, and but Katie got ganged up on, and I didn't appreciate it. That also
I
happened.
didn't either. I was not there for the Katie slander.
I was like, she's the normal one out of you girls, to say it nicely. Um, yeah, they were all like all these like first of all, Jasenia seemed toned down. But Chelsea all of a sudden became of sort of a villain type character.
Yeah.
I was like, where did this come from?
I
Because
didn't get
when somebody's like, yeah, that's what Chelsea was talking about, and Chelsea's like, thank you, and I was like, God. But yeah, Katie, and then I think I fell in love with Katie when she was talking about when she got up on the hot seat and was saying like she's almost 30, and sometimes you wonder like why am I well like I'm single almost 30. I have a more good like idea of why like I'm not like confused but like when she's like It's like sometimes you're wondering like, why am I 30 and almost 30 and single, and is it me? And I was like, I have related to that on a certain level, but I was like, you like literally admitting that, I'm like, okay, like where are you? Like let's go on a date. I was like
I
immediately.
We need to start the campaign that you two should at least go out on one date or follow each other
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Where's she
Something.
from? I don't even know where she's from.
I don't know, but she has a podcast. So what if we just like reach out? I really think we can make this happen.
That would be freaking hilarious. What's her name? Katie. She'll come up because for some reason Instagram thinks I like um Katie. She's not. Oh, there she is. Vent with Katie.
That's it.
Um,
Katie Thurston.
like her last post, if you think you can shoot her straight, you better pick her up because she's whiskey in a teacup. I don't know what lyric that is, but I love that. And then it's hashtag Whiskey Wednesday. Like I'm already in love. She's followed by FP Santangelo. That's amazing. Oh my god.
You gotta slide in there before he does.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, she had a good like when she talks, she just seems so freaking normal. I'm really hoping she's not the Bachelorette because I just don't think that's like. I don't think she'd be great for entertainment, but I'll just be like, nah, like you're too normal for that show.
Yeah, I hope it wouldn't ruin her.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have anything more? Trying to
No, the bloopers were just a lot of people falling over, a lot of bugs, and then one very inappropriate moment of Matt.
Yeah. That I mean, I was about to say something really bad. Yeah, when he was in a hot tub with Serena P,
Mm-hmm.
and she was getting out of the hot tub, and the cameraman, I guess, forgot to move his camera, or he meant to zoom in on a certain part of her.
Oh,
So she got out, and then Matt's about to get out, and he says, "I'm actually gonna." What does he say? I need a towel
I
before
actually need my robe before I get out of here.
Yeah. Listen, I don't have to explain why.
It,
They were in a hot tub together.
apparently that stuff happens all the time too on because like when former bachelors go on podcasts like what was your most embarrassing moment, they always say they're like, yeah, it was that, like,
Yeah.
or remember last season when they did the like erotic yoga with Blake.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was funny. That was. This is the funniest part though. It's like you're not seeing anything, but they still put a black thing over it. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
making it so much worse.
Like I know why, and I know like nothing's actually being shown, but come on. Anybody? Well, I don't know how many like underage like people who I don't know. I don't know anybody's watching the show that doesn't get that why that's happening.
Yeah,
I feel like am I out of line there?
I don't think they really. Oh, the Bachelor producers.
I was about to say something bad again. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep. I was gonna say something of relatable nature. Well, I was gonna say.
Those would be
Oh,
post-show conversations.
yeah. This is I wanted to ask this, and maybe I asked it before as we wrap this up. So I was thinking this. This guy is in a house with at one point what 20 plus women, and most of which I'm not going to say all of them are like they're not going to all be attractive to everybody, but like a lot of them are very attractive, sexy women. You're telling me that a man could like, do you think there's ever been, or maybe there's been stories of this where like he has favorites and like he has producers like say, hey, like bring her to my room, basically? Does that happen?
So they do not allow that because they don't want that happening because they want fantasy suites to be such a moment that's like the first time you get to do that.
Bro, Matt,
But
I don't know
people have found
how.
a way.
What?
People have found a way to do it. So there was one season where because you have your mic on at all times, so these two contestants were like, "Oh, we're gonna go take a swim in the ocean. We can't wear our mics in the ocean." They're like, yeah, okay. They're like, well, we're going to be filming you the whole time you're in the water. And they're like, okay. And they found a way to make fantasy suites happen before the fantasy suites.
So it was a contestant and like the main person.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. We're gonna film you. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
We're feeling wild tonight.
Please don't put this on air. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not gonna. That'd be funny if they just be like, okay, you're not gonna be able to use it though.
Exactly. You can film me, but I know you're not putting this on TV.
I mean, you're not gonna put it on TV. There's probably websites you can put it on, but not this one.
The family show still.
But yeah, I've just thought that. I'm like, 2 months of just nothing, and that's just. I mean, you can make out a bunch with your eyes open if you're Matt. But whoa, that's what they talked about. Because you told the story before he actually said it. Like you heard that story, and he said it's because he bit some girl and she started bleeding. And then I didn't know they were going to actually focus on it. They did. I would have been so embarrassed. I would have been like, oh my God, you're actually lasering in on this?
I would have fallen over. Watching
a
video of myself make out with people with my eyes like this.
Oh my God. And then I think they were talking about the girls, like, hey girls, who wants to fess up and like say like, were you freaked out? And like Piper was like, actually, I like said something to you. And then I think
he called you out.
I think it was just Senya who was like, yeah, one time I like snuck a peek, and I was like, okay, whoa. And I was like, can you imagine like just barely open your eyes and just
eyes.
That's wild. Yeah. So that was the other funny thing, because like that had obviously producers and people see what's going on Twitter, and they're like, "Hey, we need to go back and make a highlight reel of Matt kissing." Yeah. Because I didn't know where he was going with this. He's like Matt likes to like, I don't know how he set it up. He's like, Matt likes to always has his eye on you. Yep. That's what he said, and I thought that meant, because I made this joke on the podcast, he always says like, I had my eye on her from like night one. I thought it was gonna be a compilation of him saying all that, which would have made him look worse probably, because all the girls were like, wow, like you just said that to everyone. Okay. So then I realized it was about kissing, and I'm like, oh, sorry, Matt.
Sorry, Matt. It's okay.
I guess that would scar you if you did bite somebody by accident and you wanted to make sure everything was in the right place. Maybe you just wanted to double check.
I don't know.
At a point though, you
yeah.
Get a CPR dummy or something.
Yeah, do your own research on your own time. Just like practice, watch film. I don't know. Hey, just don't do it.
I don't know. I don't go to these depths of the internet, but I bet there's some thing you can practice on that maybe, I don't know. That sounded awful, because like that obviously is a thing for other, like there's another area where I could have said that for that. Yeah, we're going down other rabbit hole there. I don't know if they make one just for kissing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't do that Twitter. I don't do those Google searches. I'm sorry.
No, we will not be doing Google searches.
Okay, well, we went long again, but that was fun. Episode 22.
Always a good time.
Episode 22. Episode 23 is the Jordan podcast.
Whoa.
Oh, then don't get excited. We're not having like Jordan on. It's just 23. I don't know, because you're still 23, right? I
am.
So, okay. So when I would always turn a new age in my 20s, I think I started this. It was just a thing I did on Facebook. I don't even think I kept the tradition going, I think. I would always say I turned like 23 today, aka the Jordan year. And then next year I was like Kobe. And then I was like 25. What's 25? And I would like make something up. And I was like 26, like Clinton Portis, 27, something else. And I think I got to a point where I'm like, I'm 28. Nothing really comes to mind. I was running out of steam, and I think I'll stop at 30. So
seems like a good time to stop. Well, because this year all my Instagram captions are puns. So I was like, okay, it's my Jordan year. The Last Dance came out. Like there has to be a pun that I can put together for this. And I just gave up. So you did it and you didn't come up with something. No, nothing that was really like, wow. Because I also had, as many people follow me for sports, a lot of people just wouldn't get it. So it's like I needed to get something that everyone would understand. And
well, 24, I would might be. Don't do a Kobe pun. That might be insensitive to people. Jack Bauer, 24, the show.
A fabulous show.
Maybe there's a pun with his name.
Find something.
Maybe.
Well, we have a few months to workshop. I
mean, just spitballing here. Just dress up as a Power Ranger and say I'm a Bauer Ranger.
I can't see me doing that, but
I hope people could see what my reaction was. I'm not actually serious about that. It's like that was my actually first spitball idea. I'm like dead serious. I think this is a good idea.
this
Trust me.
is it.
Okay. Well, if you listened this far, you're an angel. If you didn't, well, sorry. So DC Sports XP on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If I just say on YouTube, like you think people would get that? Like just to
Yeah, for sure.
like the backslash. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think so.
oh, well, not nobody cares. So update on the giveaway.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I'm not. This is not like me putting anybody down. I'm just saying we reached out to Jordan from Washington Football Today, and he was gonna. I was gonna maybe I can get help with this because we have 8,700 followers, which is on the grand scheme of things not a lot. And when it comes to a giveaway, we don't know how much we're gonna get. And I have so many of these cards to give away, so I wanted to get as many entries as possible and thought maybe I can get a post on Washington Football Day to help with the entries and stuff. And he agreed to just post it on his story, which is good because I know thousands of people watch that. So it drove a lot of traffic to the post. And we got a bunch of entries, and I think I'm going to cap it. I don't think we need any more promotion for it.
Okay.
So basically, you're going to get a DM. I know not many people are going to, I don't know if I might just clip this part to explain this process, but
Yeah,
you're going to
totally.
get a DM from our account, basically asking for your information to ship this card to you um, in a nice little package. So you will get it, um, but you got to be patient because it's a one-man shipping crew over here. So I'm going to be doing a lot of writing of addresses and probably a personal card, a little personal note with each one. So a little touch.
Sweet. Well, not that I want to rig this at all, but my dad did enter the giveaway, and I think my dad
Shut
should.
up.
I swear to God,
Wait, what's it? He did?
he did. He tagged me as one of his people because he doesn't follow
Oh,
people on it.
oh,
He
that's
tagged
hilarious.
me.
That's hilarious. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, your dad's
sorry,
definitely.
everyone else, but my dad wants a card.
That's so good. That's so funny. I'm surprised you didn't say that. I'm surprised you're bringing that up now. I'm surprised that wasn't like a text. I was like, oh, by the way, my dad entered. If you see me tagged.
You see me tagged, it's my dad. Because I don't know what content he's ever posted on there, so I didn't know if I wanted to bring attention to it, but now I'm just calling him out.
Yeah, well, I know people. I mean, I probably should have specified. I don't know if this is insinuated. We've never done a giveaway before, so I just people would enter twice and tag like four friends, meaning like they tag two and then they commented again. You only get one entry. It's not like a raffle.
Um,
So it's like you enter and then we'll do some randomized thing. But all right. Well, with that said, this is episode 22. Any last words?
that's it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you for our Michael Jordan episode.
All right. Peace, y'all.